Hello and welcome to the Diski preview show. My name is Mo and this is Mr. E. And as usual, every week we give you 5 fixtures to look out for in terms of creating your bet slip for the weekend. We're going to start our journey off in the DSTV Premiership with Sundowns, and then we're going to move on to the Nedbank Cup, which is also called the FA Cup on the Betfred website. And then we're also going to cover what's happening in England, also and Italy. For those of you that have not visited betfred.co.za yet, well, you're missing out, and this is how it looks. Right, let's start our conversation by looking at what's happening in the Nedbank Cup. It is a Soweto derby weekend. It is the weekend that divides not only Soweto but divides a whole country in South Africa. Some even say the continent splits in half. Yeah. Whenever Mamelodi Sundowns, Mamelodi Sundowns.
Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates.
Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates. Yeah. It's because you know what? Let me be honest with you, those of you that are watching. It's because we all want Mamelodi Sundowns to win the CAF Champions League, go on to win the FIFA Club World Cup. Yeah. If Man City win the UEFA Champions League, only Mamelodi Sundowns can stop them in the World Cup.
Definitely. And you know, when it comes to the players, I think last time I told you that when Haaland is a trading, he calls himself Let's just see how it's going to pan out.
With that in mind, let's talk about the Soweto derby. It is a very, very interesting journey for both these teams. Let's start off with Kaizer Chiefs. They had to beat Cedric Stars, they had to beat Royal AM, and then now they're going to face Orlando Pirates. For Orlando Pirates, they had to beat VFA, which is Venda Football Academy, and then they also had to beat Dondo Stars, and now they're going to be facing Kaizer Chiefs. It's always, in South African football, always feels like it boils down to a Soweto derby.
Every time. I think this is the climax of the season. I mean, and we've been blessed with yet another derby before. I think we are left with about 2 or 3 games, rather each and every team is left with about 2 or 3 games to finish off the season. Yeah. And boom, we've got a derby on our hands. I mean, what a way to end the season, my man.
What a way to end the season indeed. And let's talk about it. Win probability sitting in favor of Kaizer Chiefs at 36%, 32% in favor of Orlando Pirates, and 32% in favor of the draw. So 36 for Kaizer Chiefs, 32 for Orlando Pirates, 32 for the draw. That's the win probability. We're talking about current form. Kaizer Chiefs come into this game on the back of a loss. Mr. E, your thoughts about that specific situation?
Yeah, I think this is the time that they can redeem themselves rather from the loss they got. I think it was Sekhukhune, the 2-1 loss. But they are facing another a Pirates team that has been on the roll. It also lost 2 points when they were playing against Royal AM. I think they drew that game there. Yeah, but you see, when it comes to the derby, all the form books are torn.
Yes.
We put everything aside. We look at the actual match. What's going to be happening?
It's a grudge match.
It's a grudge match. Everyone is motivated. Everybody wants to win. But I would like to analyze the 2 coaches. I'm looking at Zwane. Yeah, I'm looking at Zwane. Yeah. Zwane was, his track record. He's only been the coach of the multi-disc team.
Yes,
that is the pedigree that he brings on. But he didn't even didn't even win the championship when he was with the juniors. Yes. Now on the other side, you've got Jose Ribeiro. I think he's been the coach of Intertuku. I think HJK, PK35. Yes. I think he's coached. He's got a lot of experience. Yes. But what's going to pan out tomorrow when these 2 teams meet? It's the way they set up their shop. I've seen how Kaizer Chiefs have been playing and how Orlando Pirates have been playing. If Orlando Pirates sets up its defensive line deep into the field of play, they're going to have problems because there's Saile, who's I think is a speedster. They've got what's his name, Dupree. He's another speedster. Yeah. So if they set up their defensive block high up in the field of play, then Zwane and the speedsters can utilize the spaces behind the defense. Yes. I don't think Usibisi and what's the other guy's name? Umayela. Well, Mayela has already made one blunder in one of the derbies that the Orlando Pirates lost. Yes. So if they manage to, if Orlando Pirates wants to beat Kaizer Chiefs, they must make sure that their defensive block is not very far from their goalkeeper.
All right, so Mr. E saying it will all boil down to how low the block for Orlando Pirates will be. So, Mr. E, what's your prediction for this game?
90 minutes. It's going to be a draw. but progressing to the finals will be Kaizer Chiefs.
Oh,
yeah.
Mr. E, we'll leave it at that.
Remember, it's already 5-0.
Yes.
Yeah, this one is going to make it half a dozen, right?
Yes. Yeah. You heard it from the man himself, and I'm going to leave it there for now. Stay tuned to the Diski Preview Show and see what else we have to talk about. Right, so sticking with the Nedbank Cup, we're going to continue our conversation by looking at what's happening in the other match that's supposed to take place. Mr. E, who's facing who? You've got us with that information.
Yes, Stellenbosch will be facing Sekhukhune in another semi-final.
That's very interesting because in South African football at the moment, for those people that are following outside of the country, because you know on YouTube we have wide-reaching audience. So people who are watching this show for South African football content, they must be thinking to themselves, wait, this is a semi-final. We've got the two Soweto Giants, which is Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
But where is Mamelodi Sundowns? And that's going to be the question that everybody's asking themselves. Now, let me tell you who knocked out Mamelodi Sundowns. It was indeed Stellenbosch.
Yeah, definitely. I think they handed Sundowns their first defeat after a very long streak of
They were
winnings.
the first team
They were the
to
first
beat
team.
Ulani Mokoena as a manager of Orlando of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yes. I think I actually got the opportunity to watch the match. I think they played very well, man. But yet again, we'll discuss that when we talk about Sundowns.
Yes.
But coming into this game, yes, Stellenbosch, I think they've got an opportunity to beat Sekhukhune because Sekhukhune also it's still in its teeth days in the top flight because it was promoted only 2 seasons ago.
Of course.
But they've got a very, very good defensive line, and some of their players are very good because they're actually former players from the big 4 teams. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting one. How it pans out when they meet on Sunday.
What I find so inspirational about Stellenbosch is that when you look at the city of Stellenbosch, you look at the town of Stellenbosch, you're associated with rugby, you're associated with everything non-football, you understand?
Yeah.
So when the team came out and they said there's a team from Stellenbosch, I was like, okay, what is the point? And then next thing you know, they've been able to cement their position in the DSTV Premiership, and not only that, they've been performing well. And now they have a semi-final appearance against a team like Sekhukhune United, where they right now could be the favorites to go through. And speaking of which, we don't have win probability for this game, but what we do have is the form of both these sides, 64% for each side. And for Stellenbosch, they come into this game on the back of 3 wins in a row and a draw. For Sekhukhune United, they come on the back of 3 wins in a row, a draw and a loss. So 3 wins in a row, a draw and a loss. So speaking to that, Mr. E, who are you going with in this game?
I'll go with Stellenbosch.
Yeah,
I think I've watched the young guys, the youngsters. They play. I think they're very good in transition. And they've got one of the best strikers. I think. What's his name? Ikram Reigns. I think.
Ikram Reigns.
Yes. I think he's already scored 15 goals, which is quite good. I mean, like coming from a team like Stellenbosch, they also have Junior Mendieta, the former Sundowns player.
Yes.
So it looks like they're set to take this one. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Stellenbosch.
Okay, Mr. E says he's gonna give it to Stellenbosch, but Mr. E, we need your prediction because giving it to Stellenbosch is not really a prediction.
Okay.
It's just you picking a side. So tell us, what is your prediction for this game?
All right, Stellenbosch is going to beat Sekhukhune.
All right, that's what he's going to say. I thought he was going to give us a score like he did last time because you know sometimes he gets excited. He's like, my score is going to be this. So that's Mr. E's prediction. Make sure if you also want to lock in your bets to visit betfair.co.za. If you're right now watching it on YouTube and you're like, I don't want to go type out a whole URL, go down into the description below. We have all the URLs packaged for you in a nice format for you to just click and follow to the page, to the Betfair website. And you can also use those links down there to go check out our other social media pages. We're available on Facebook, on TikTok, and we're also available on Instagram. So make sure to go like, follow, subscribe, and also leave a comment for us. We do enjoy engaging with you. And if you want some entertainment, make sure to go check out our YouTube shorts. They are available right on this channel. For now, let's get ready to go talk about the DSTV Premiership. Right, welcome back to the Diski Preview Show. We are discussing all things local football. We've covered the 2 semi-finals from the Nedbank Cup, and now it's time for us to talk about what's happening in the DSTV Premiership. Only one game taking place this weekend in the tournament, and it's Marumo Gallants taking on Mamelodi Sundowns. Don't worry, if you are a fan of Kaizer Chiefs or Pirates, you don't need to miss out on this game because this game kicks off at 7 p.m. while the other game kicks off at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So you can watch that one in local time. Marumo Gallants versus Mamelodi Sundowns. I have Mr. E with me as usual to give us his thoughts and his analysis on both these teams. Mr. E, talk to me. What What do you think of these two sides?
Yeah, it will be quite interesting to see how they're gonna play when they meet over the weekend here, because remember they are both semi-finalists in their respective on the continent. I mean, in continental competitions. So, and yet again, if you look at Sundowns, they've been drawn against Wydad. Right,
yes.
And then Marumo Gallants, I think it's Young Africans. Yeah. So I'm yet to see how the coaches are going to approach this game here, because one eye will be on this game, while the other eye is on the international, or rather on the continental matches. So I just want to see how they're going to set up their shop there, just to make sure that they rotate their squads and they freshen up their squads, so that they can have fresh players when they play on the continental competitions.
Right. Speaking of which, Marumo Gallants have a 25% win probability, 29% for the draw, and guess what? Mamelodi Sundowns occupying 46% of the win probability. Form-wise, Marumo Gallants is in the better. They have 71% current form, while on the other side, Mamelodi Sundowns can only come to the table with 60% form coming into this game. Now, speaking of which, Mr. E did mention where these two teams will be playing next. While Marumo Gallants, they have to go face Young Africans, while for Mamelodi Sundowns, it's the task of the century, having to go face Marumo Gallants. Having to go face Wydad Casablanca. Yeah. Now, for those of you that have not been following the CAF Champions League, Wydad Casablanca, a team you definitely don't want to meet in this stage of the competition. They tore apart their group stages, and they were very impressive with themselves, and Raja Casablanca were very impressive in this year's competition. I have a feeling that if Mamelodi Sundowns go through, for me, they're champions.
The second star is loading. I mean, right now it's loading. Maybe it's at 55%. Once they go through, and the nicest thing is that the first game, Sundowns is traveling to the home ground of Wydad Casablanca, and then the second game is going to be in Pretoria. So they've got an opportunity to redeem themselves should things don't work out when they travel to Wydad. So I think that's the advantage that they carry right now. Even Marumo Gallants, they also the first game, I think it's away. But the second game is going to be
both games are first away.
Yes,
and the second leg is here.
Definitely. So we'll be there to cheer them up, man. We want that second star. I mean, we want Sundowns to be like Al Ahly.
This is coming from non-Sundowns fans, by the way. Every South African.
They've been playing very well. I
think after this, because they call themselves the Brazilians, right?
Yeah.
And this year they've been our national team. If we're being honest, Bafana skis, but this has been our national team. Mamelodi Sundowns has been our national team.
They've been on a roll. I mean, like each and every, and you see, they're overshadowing Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, they've done very well, but you don't see that because Mamelodi Sundowns has done extremely well.
SuperSport United, you have to mention them as well.
SuperSport United is also there.
It's not like those teams were sitting second the whole season. Richards Bay,
Richards Bay
was sitting second for most of the season.
Yes.
So now you have to mention that, because if we say it the way that we just said it, Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, it kind of sheds light. I mean, it kind of paints a picture to the people at home that no, man, these are the two teams that we need to look out for. SuperSport United, also they came from a very dire situation to finish all the way in second, and they're still fighting for that spot against Kaizer Chiefs and against Orlando Pirates. So that's where we leave it for now. Please give me your prediction for this game.
Okay, I'm going to give it to Marumo Gallants.
Mr. E is going to give it to Marumo Gallants. If you also want to go place your bets, make sure to hit the link below and go to betfred.co.za. If you don't have an account, we have a link especially for you if you'd like to use that to go open an account with us here at betfred.co.za. For now, we got to move on and talk international football. Preview show, we're talking all things of football. We started off with a little bit of some DSTV Premiership action and some Nedbank Cup Semi Finals, but it's time for us to move on to the big one, the Premier League out there in the United Kingdom. Now, obviously, we've loaded another episode to this very channel. You can go check it out, where our pundits from the UK, from Betfred UK, have spoken on the games coming up this weekend. We're just covering this game. It is one of the big ones for the weekend. We cannot ignore it. It is the team that's trying to win the title, first time in so many years, and they are currently having to face off against Manchester City. On the other side, we have another issue where Manchester City have Real Madrid coming up next week, but they play Leeds United over the weekend. And another issue on top is that, look, at this moment in time, Newcastle United need to secure top four, but Liverpool is breathing down their necks. So let's talk about it. Newcastle versus Arsenal. Mr. A, what have you thought of both these teams this season?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when they meet over the weekend here. But one thing for sure, sure, one thing that's certain, if Arsenal does not pick up the 3 points from Newcastle at St. James Park, it might be as well as it might be over for them in terms of trying to wrestle away the championship from Manchester City. I think they did they didn't do themselves a favor by losing all those points there. I think out of I think 5 games, instead of picking up the 15 points, they only managed to pick up, I think it was 6 or so, which is a lot. Which is a lot. Now they've given the lifeline to Manchester City, which is by the way is on the road. I mean, they're doing very well. The strike force is very sharp and very potent to beat any team. And yet again, when Arsenal faces Newcastle, playing at St. James Park is not easy. I can tell you, I mean, a lot of teams have lost at Newcastle.
Yeah.
So Newcastle is so aggressive when it's playing at home. The Magpies, they're so majestic, man. You must watch them play.
Right, and the big thing about this conversation is that when you talk about these two sides, like you said, Arsenal started dropping points. They had 3 draws in a row and a loss, which kind of opened the door for Manchester City to walk back into the title race. Not saying that they were ever out of it, but to walk right straight back into it.
Exactly.
At this moment in time, when talking about those results, Mr. E, I just want to go back to these results. They had a 4-1 win against Leeds United, which kind of emphatically still kept them at the top. They drew against Liverpool after going 2 goals forward and then losing that lead. They did the same thing against West Ham United the following week. They faced Southampton, who were bottom of the table and for sure going to get relegated. And they let them come back from 3 goals down to make it 3-3. Then they lost out to Manchester City by 4 goals to 1. But I remember saying this to someone because when they said to me, "Oh no, but look, Arsenal just lost out to Manchester City," and I said, if you look at this season, after in Feb, Arsenal did lose out to Manchester City, but then the next game they won that game. And they did that against Chelsea. And do you think that now that they have that loss against Manchester City, they'll go back to form? They only have like 4 games left for the rest of the season. It's not a lot of games to talk about. They got Newcastle now. They've got Brighton at home. They have Nottingham Forest away. They have Wolves on the last day. Do you think that now that gives them an advantage to focus on just that?
Definitely, it gives them an advantage. After beating Chelsea, I think that restored confidence in the Arsenal camp. I was also getting worried on what was happening. But now my problem is, if they go to Newcastle, it's not going to be easy for them. I mean, they have to perform exceptionally well to pick up the 3 points there. It won't be just a stroll in the park for Arsenal. So they got to be on top of their game. First and foremost, they have to pick up the 3 points.
Yeah,
that's it. Because once they fail to do that, then the gap widens at the top. Then they might not be able to gain enough points to pick up to win the championship. So definitely, it's a must win for us now. But I'm looking at the games that they're still to play. Brighton, well, they've got a fair chance of winning that one. Nottingham Forest as well as Wolves. Yeah, they might be able to pick up the 9 points from those 3 games there. So what they need to do, the last 4 games, win as many games as possible. Rather, win all of them. Yes.
Right, it's going to be a big task for them. So, Mr. A, I do assume after you say they have to win all the games remaining, that your prediction will be that they'll have to win this game.
They definitely have to win this game, and they will win this game. They will beat Newcastle.
And Mr. E saying they're going to win this game. They need to win this game, and they're going to beat Newcastle. Let's go on to our last game and talk about the last match on our roster. Right, we've talked all things local football. We're talking about Nedbank Cup, DSTV Premiership, and now it's time for us to move on to Italian football. And I'm joined by Mr. E as usual. If you're watching this full episode here on YouTube, make sure to go check out our YouTube shorts where we have some entertaining videos just for you to get some stress relief and laugh a little bit. It's time for us to move on to talk about AS Roma versus Inter Milan. A big game in any conversation that you might want to have. Mr. E, what are your thoughts on both these teams?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an evenly balanced game. I mean, I'm looking at, I think there is only a few points. Is it 1 or 2 points separating the 2 teams.
Yes.
Yeah, but Inter Milan has always had a slight edge over AS Roma. I'm not disputing the capabilities of Jose Mourinho, but I think from the way I see it, I think Inter Milan will be able to pull through and gain the 3 points on this one.
All right, Mr. E, that's a very strong statement because we do also have a couple of other big games taking place in Italy. AC Milan take on Lazio, and then we also want to see the likes of Torino against Monza. Atalanta is going to be facing Juventus, one to look out for as well. And Lecce, who faced Juventus previously, will be facing Verona. But speaking specifically to this game, Roma versus Inter Milan, win probability is 31% in favor of Roma, 31% in favor of the draw, and 38% in favor of Inter Milan. So this does echo the same sentiments that you have about this match going into it, because both these sides also, I mean, Inter have to worry about what's happening on the continent, and like we had last week with AC and what team was it again? It was AC. You have to remember. Yeah. But both those teams
so many games that we go through.
So many games we cover. But both those teams had interest on the continent, whether it be the UEFA Champions League or UEFA Europa League.
Yeah.
So now it's back to this again. AS Roma have interest in the Europa League. Bear in mind that they won the Conference League last season. It will be very historic for them to win the third division continental trophy, second division continental trophy, and next season we'll be watching to see what they're going to do in the UEFA Champions League. But they've performed well. But Inter Milan on the other side, also semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League tournament, they have not won since Jose Mourinho was in charge, and that was way back when Samuel Eto'o and Diego Milito were the men up front scoring all the goals. So a lot of sentiment for both these teams on the continent. Do you think that they put priority on this game? Do they put priority on getting all 3 points in this match?
Yeah, definitely they have to put priority into that because I can't dispute that. I mean, they've had a blockbuster of a season. Both teams right now, they're in the semi-finals of their respective competitions in Europe. And if you look at their positions in their log, if they are both fighting for top 4, that makes them eligible to play on the continent, on the European continent next year. So definitely, they both of them need the 3 points, although they are evenly balanced. So we just wait to see how the game plays out on over the weekend.
All right, so don't forget this game does take place on the 6th of May, which is Saturday, the 6th of May 2023, and we're going to be watching that one with you as well. So, Mr. E, I got to take your prediction before I let you go. This was the last game we had to cover. So, what is your prediction for AS Roma taking on Inter Milan?
Inter Milan, straight win.
All right, Mr. E is going to go with a straight win.
The Betfred promise is value for money, friendly service, and fast payments. When you choose to bet, Betfred.